Hi and welcome to Film 3.uk Movie Recap. Today, we will be reviewing the movie Singin' in the Rain 1952, so if you're a fan of the film or just curious about it, stick around. In our video reviews, we may include some spoilers, so please be careful if you haven't seen the movie yet. The film opens with a montage of graphics set to the tune of Singin' in the Rain, which inform the viewer that the film is a loving tribute to the glory days of Hollywood's transition from silent films to talkies. The montage then transitions into a scene where Hollywood star Don Lockwood is being interviewed about his successful career. He discusses how he got his start in show business and how he became a leading man. The interview is then interrupted by a group of young women who mob Lockwood and make it difficult for him to continue. The next scene shows Don and his friend, Cosmo Brown, performing a comical dance routine on stage. After the performance, the two men are backstage and Cosmo teases Don about his on-screen love interest, Lena Lamont. Lena is infamously known for her high-pitched and grating voice, which Don finds to be a turnoff. The two men are then informed that they have to do a reshoot of a scene because the audio did not come out properly. On set, Don and Lena are supposed to be in a romantic embrace, but due to Lena's offensive voice, Don can't stand to be near her. As a result, he accidentally steps on her foot, which causes her to yelp in pain. The director orders for them to take 5, during which Lena scolds Don for his clumsiness. The two then have to do another take, but this time, Lena trips on her dress and falls to the ground. Once again, the director orders for them to take a 5. During the break, Don sees a young woman walking on set and is immediately captivated by her. He follows her and strike up a conversation, only to realize that the woman, Kathy Selden, is actually a dancer who is auditioning for the film. Kathy is unimpressed by Don's celebrity status and makes it clear that she does not want anything to do with him. However, Don is not easily deterred and asks her out for dinner. She declines, but he persists and eventually convinces her to go. At the restaurant, Don is trying to impress Kathy with stories of his on-screen antics, but she is not interested. She is more concerned with the fact that he is making a mockery of the art of filmmaking. She believes that films should be about telling a good story, not just about putting on a good show. Don is taken aback by her comments and the two get into an argument. They part ways on bad terms. The next day, Don is at the studio and is supposed to be filming a love scene with Lena. However, he is still thinking about Kathy and her scathing remarks. As a result, he is not able to focus and ends up making a fool of himself. The director, annoyed, orders for them to take a break. Lena then confronts Don and accuses him of making her look bad on purpose. The two get into a heated argument and Lena storms off. Kathy is then seen walking on set. Don, who is still upset about their fight, tries to avoid her. However, she insists on talking to him and the two make up. Kathy reveals that she was only hard on him because she thought he was better than the films he was making. The two then share a tender moment. In the second part of Singin' in the Rain, Don Lockwood continues to be one of the hottest commodities in Hollywood. His latest film with Cosmo Brown, The Dancing Cavalier, is a box office smash. After the premiere, Don and Cosmo go to a speakeasy to celebrate. There, they meet up with Don's girlfriend, Lena Lamont. Lena is a talented singer, but her shrill voice is not conducive to the new sound of talking pictures. Despite this, Don is completely devoted to her. Don's next project is the jazz singer. He is excited to be a part of this new technology, but Lena is not. She is terrified that her voice will not be good enough for the talking pictures. Don tries to reassure her, but she is inconsolable. The day of the big premiere arrives, and Lena's fears are realized. Her voice is grating and shrill, and the audience is laughing at her. Don is mortified, but he knows he has to do something to save the film. He comes up with a plan and, with the help of Cosmo, manages to pull it off. The film is a hit, and Lena is forgotten. Don is now a huge star, and he and Cosmo are partners in their own successful studio. The third part of the film follows Don Lockwood, Gene Kelly, as he begins to gain notoriety and fame from his work in film. This is largely due to the efforts of his friend and co-worker, Cosmo Brown, Donald O'Connor. As Don's star begins to rise, he begins to distance himself from those close to him, including Cosmo. This creates tension between the two friends, but they are eventually able to patch things up. The third part of the film also sees Don's relationship with Kathy Selden, Debbie Reynolds, begin to develop. The two had previously met under somewhat hostile circumstances, but they slowly begin to fall for each other. However, Kathy is hesitant to get too close to Don, as she is aware of his reputation as a womanizer. Near the end of the third part of the film, Don is set to star in a new film called The Wild West. However, the studio is having trouble finding a leading lady for the project. They eventually settle on an unknown actress named Lena Lamont, Jean Hagen. Don is immediately skeptical of Lena's abilities, but he is forced to work with her anyway. The third part of the film ends with the debut of the Wild West. The film is a complete disaster, thanks in large part to Lena's terrible acting. Don is humiliated by the experience, but he is able to find some consolation in the fact that Kathy was there to support him. In the fourth part of the film, Don and Lena are rehearsing a new dancing routine for their upcoming film. They are having trouble getting the timing right and Lena keeps getting frustrated. Don is patient with her and eventually they get it right. They are both happy with the results. The film Singin' in the Rain 1952 is about a Hollywood starlet, Kathy Selden, who is in love with a famous silent film actor, Don Lockwood. Don is in an unhappy marriage with his co-star, Lena Lamont. Kathy is brought in to be Don's voiceover for his latest film. As they work together, they fall in love. However, Lena finds out and is enraged. She sabotages Kathy's career and tries to break them up. Kathy is devastated but Don encourages her to keep going. The film ends with a grand performance of Singin' in the Rain where everyone is happy and in love. In the sixth part of the film, Don and Cosmo are in Don's apartment discussing Don's failed relationship with Lena. Cosmo tries to convince Don that Lena is not worth his time, but Don is adamant that he still loves her. Unbeknownst to them, Lena is outside the apartment, listening to their conversation. She becomes enraged and starts singing loudly, which causes a water pipe to burst and flood the apartment. Don and Cosmo are forced to evacuate, and as they are leaving, they spot Lena walking away. The seventh part of the film opens with Don Lockwood, Gene Kelly, and Kathy Selden, Debbie Reynolds, being interviewed by a Hollywood reporter. They tell the reporter how they met and fell in love. The reporter then asks them about the rumors that they are going to be getting married. Don and Kathy deny the rumors, but the reporter says that he has heard from a reliable source that they are indeed getting married. The reporter then asks them about the dance sequence in the film. They explain how they worked together to create the perfect dance. The reporter then asks them about the future and what they see for themselves. They both say that they see themselves continuing to work together and making more great films. The reporter then thanks them for their time and leaves. In the eighth part of the film, the main character, Don Lockwood, finally confesses his true feelings for his leading lady, Lena Lamont. He tells her that he has been in love with her since they first met, and that he will never be able to forget her. Lena is shocked and delighted by this declaration, and the two share a passionate kiss. In the ninth part of the film, the characters continue to struggle with the restrictions of the Hollywood studio system. Don and Lena have a dance rehearsal, during which they argue and he storms out. Cosmo and Kathy try to come up with a new dance routine, but Cosmo is struggling with his vision. Later, Don and Lena attend a screening of their new film, The Dancing Cavalier, which is not well received. Lena is booed by the audience and she runs out in tears. Don follows her and they argue again. He tells her that their relationship is over and she leaves. In the 10th part of Singin' in the Rain, Don Lockwood has just finished filming a scene for his latest movie. He is about to leave the set when he is confronted by his ex-girlfriend, Lena Lamont. Lena is angry with Don for breaking up with her and insists that he takes her back. Don refuses and tries to walk away, but Lena grabs him and demands that he kiss her. Don pushes her away and she falls to the ground. A group of photographers witness the incident and begin to take pictures. Lena gets up and angrily tells the photographers to stop. If you found the review enjoyable and wish to watch the movie, we've provided a link in the description where you can access it. If you appreciated the review, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Till the next time, bye.